Hello everybody and welcome to the internet's best reactions here at the WTF1 Clubhouse from the British Grand Prix. Yes, we have had almost 700 people camping with us over the course of this weekend, and it has been a mega event. What wasn't a mega event, as you will know as I'm a Charles Leclerc fanboy, nope, just passionate, it's the race that went on. No, it was actually an amazing race. Your reactions were great too, so let's get into them right now. Right, the first tweet comes in from @Stewie_III. No memes here, just pure appreciation and respect for the F1 medical and trackside professionals. Yes, of course, at the start, the first start of the British Grand Prix, we of course had that Zhou impact, which was absolutely terrifying. It is such good news that we saw that Zhou Guanyu was absolutely fine. In fact, we actually saw him speaking to Stefano Domenicali at the end of the race. So glad to see him okay. It was a scary incident. Of course, loads of drivers involved in that. Russell was out and his consistency streak is over, but the main thing is Zhou Guanyu being okay, and it seems like he's fighting fit and probably ready to go for next week. So of course with the fact we actually got a red flag before they all crossed safety car line 2, it meant even though Verstappen jumped signs with the soft tyres, they had to rejig back to their qualifying positions, and it actually meant a Mr. Nicholas Latifi, who, by the way, what was he doing in qualifying? Being a beast. I'll answer that for you. At @SickNotNoteMickey21, Latifi in the top 10, be like. The guy must have had a nosebleed. I think he was 8th at the restart, and he was actually running in the lower end of the points for most of the race, but then unfortunately just lost out. But we did get someone else get some points, which we'll get onto a little bit later. At Riff_Chi, Ferrari versus Red Bull, what a restart. Yes, it was, what a race, by the way. This whole race was, as you look at it as an unbiased individual, which of course, you know, I don't have any allegiances to any particular team that are red, but as an unbiased witness to this event, it must have been an incredible one, because there was so much overtaking, so much drama, so much strategy going everywhere. And the Ferrari versus Red Bull fight was brilliant. We had, of course, Verstappen and Sainz. Sainz got his elbows out into turn 1, defended P1. Leclerc dive bombs Perez, and they both get a bit of damage. And you're just thinking, right, finally, we're getting some controversy, some action in this season. They were being far too nice before the British Grand Prix, and finally we got some argy-bargy. At Cameron Davies, Leclerc on the restart pretty much sums up his little dive up the inside at turn number 4, I'm going to say. And fair enough, I think it was audacious, the move from Leclerc. Definitely risked some damage, but Perez also did a little jolt to the left. He saw Leclerc late, was like, oh no, he's going up my inside, that's not good. But squeezed him a little bit too hard, and I was about to say it ruined Perez's race, but he finished P2. That's how crazy this whole thing was. As I mentioned, Carlos put a squeeze on Max at CMDR_PK7. Carlos with the squeeze on Verstappen. He's not letting P1 go so easily the second time. Not only this, but disobeying team orders. He's like, no, Ferrari, I've seen you mess up with Leclerc. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do my own thing, and it worked. He won the Grand Prix. Carlos' first pole and first win. You've got to be happy for him. At Aline, by the way, Verstappen having a great start the first time round. Verstappen the second time, well, now I'm not doing it. Of course, he changed actually from the softs at the first start to the mediums on the second, and didn't work out as well. And of course, his car just then started disintegrating for the whole race. How he finished P7 is an absolute miracle. I couldn't find the word then. It's been a long weekend, okay? But a great drive from Max, and I think it should be appreciated that his car was like a donkey. And that line that Max had to take into turn 4, I think it was, he had to take the most tight line in there, clearly because of the fact that his rear end was just all over the shop, and he was still able to get 7th place. Unbelievable. It's crazy, now that I'm looking through the tweets that I've liked, I'm remembering things that happened in this ridiculous British Grand Prix, like the 2 AlphaTauri drivers having a little ding-dong. At Gareth Reese 9, AlphaTauri going for synchronised gymnastics in the next Olympics. I can guarantee that Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda will not be going out for dinner tonight. Those two are bros. I don't want to see Yuki doing silly little moves on his teammate. It was silly. Come on, you have to say. He lost the back end. He must have absolutely crapped himself when he went in a bit too hot, lost the rear, I think, on the brakes, and then just synchronised spinning. No more of that, Yuki. You've been better this season. At Matlock01, Leclerc trying to pass Sainz with a broken wing. Right, it's time. It's time to talk about what a lot of you are probably tuning in for. Let's talk about Leclerc, shall we? What in God's name were Ferrari doing? They made Leclerc sit behind Sainz for what felt like 3 months. Like, why are Ferrari so, what's the word? Just conservative when it comes to making decisions about swapping drivers and stuff. Do they not remember their Schumi Barrichello thing that they used to do? Are they trying to pretend that they don't do team orders? Or like, for example, Fernando Alonso and Felipe Massa. These things have happened in the past. I don't know why Ferrari are so scared to do it now. They just mess it up. Because if you let Leclerc through, he drives away. He's quicker than Sainz with a broken front wing. Lets him through, he bridges the gap, then they can both pit under the Ocon safety car, and then we don't have this situation where Leclerc's got a broken front wing with destroyed hard tyres and everybody behind's got softs. I'm not okay for it. I'm literally fuming. What did Charles Leclerc do in a past life? Tell me. At Reese the Saint, Lewis in the background like. Lewis Hamilton, by the way, what a drive from him today. He was flying. It was like fastest lap, fastest lap. In fact, there's a meme coming of that, I think. But he was so good. I genuinely thought, and I was with Tommy in the live Twitch watch-alongs that we do every race weekend, we honestly believed that he could win the race, and I think a lot of people did as well. Unfortunately, he didn't, but he had Perez in front of him, probably affected any chance of him attacking Sainz eventually. But overall, Lewis Hamilton did an amazing job this weekend. And by the way, when he did that double move on Perez and Leclerc, who were fighting in the penultimate corner, we were so far away for our Twitch watch-along, but we heard the cheers. It was mad. You know Lewis Hamilton is feeling good because this meme describes it well. At Champsco, Lewis, my tyres are still strong. When have we ever heard Lewis say anything other than my tyres are gone? Bono, my tyres are gone. My tyres are still strong. We're like, well, he's won by a minute. If his tyres are still good, we're all doomed. Now this is the fastest lap meme. At Yanni Contio. What year is it? What year was it? He was literally bang, fastest lap, fastest lap, fastest lap, fastest lap. All the while, I'm sat there going, please, let Leclerc through. What are you doing, Ferrari? Like, you have to prioritise Leclerc, who has been faster the entire season, pretty much. You cannot dispute that. Leclerc has had so many victories go down the toilet because of either reliability, Ferrari blunders, or a mix of the two. Ferrari just do not want to win the Drivers' Championship. What is your goal here? Moving on away, because I need to cool down. I can see the steam coming out of my ears. At Omema1312, Mick might score his first points, and that he did. What a hero. I was very scared that he was going to be bidding it with Max Verstappen on the final corner of the final lap. He didn't. He smashed it. And P8 for Mick. Very happy for him. Of course, it was a crazy race. He was starting near the back. Had a dreadful qualifying. Both the Astons and the Hasses did. But Mick got through. What a lad. Now this was quite funny. At Ballsy F1, Schumacher overtaking Latifi, of course this was a bit earlier in the race, and receiving first points of the season instead of Latifi. I've won, but at what cost? There was so much going on during the British Grand Prix, we kind of forgot about Max Verstappen. I kind of, in my head, was just like, yeah, he's DNF'd, because he was kind of just tootling around with a broken car. At Joshi F1, though, comes in with Verstappen versus Ocon. Of course, that big incident at Brazil. Remember when Ocon was being lapped by Verstappen? Nothing actually happened, but it definitely crossed my mind. This one made me laugh. At Thomas_Van Reef, Ocon after overtaking Verstappen. Adios. Yeah, poor Ocon. His car just broke down and then he had to park it on the racetrack. Ocon, my man, I love you, but why are you parking it there, sir? You can't park there. So of course at this point, because usually I'll like tweets throughout the race and, you know, I was like, right, oh my God, Leclerc's winning on the most destroyed hard tyres. Everybody behind is on soft. And then, to be fair, Ferrari tried to, for whatever reason, prioritise Leclerc at this point in the race. And I completely understand why Carlos Sainz has gone to jog on. I think they asked Carlos to give Leclerc 10 car lengths at the safety car restart. Carlos said, no, That's going to put me under pressure, and fair play to him. In that moment, he did what was right. I genuinely think that Ferrari could have actually lost the victory here if Carlos had obeyed those team orders. Oh my God. Let's just go to this next tweet before I start crying. At man_R0, ham, lek and per in the last 10 laps. Wow. I mean, I know that I'm not a fanboy, just passionate, all that good stuff, but you cannot deny that that move on Leclerc-Hamilton into Copse Corner, oh my God. Around the outside on destroyed hard tyres against fresh softs, it's one of the moves of the season. I had my heart in my mouth. It was unbelievable. I mean, it didn't actually matter in the end. I cannot believe Leclerc did not finish on the podium. Okay? Cannot believe it. Ferrari were given a 1-2 on a plate, and they said no. They did the dog thing when he smacks the birthday cake. That's what Ferrari did today. At Pizza Billis, Carlos to Ferrari. I gotta put me first. Yes, you do. And fair play to you, Carlos. You got your first victory. You must be absolutely buzzing.
Who has won Tweet of the Week?
Right, Tweet of the Week time now, and it comes from @TheBeerHunter, last 6 laps of the British GP. I think it was a good job that Sainz had to get that buffer because he was getting caught a little bit as Perez got through, but it was chaos. It's probably one of the best battles I've seen in a very long time because it was consistent, it was aggressive, they were going all over the place. I don't think anyone got a penalty either, which I love. It was hard, but just about fair racing for me. At T Yonoda, Ferrari ruining Leclerc's race be like. I need to work out how many points Leclerc has lost through either blunders or blowing up, because it's got to be nearly 100, I reckon. At Dan Hatton 97 pretty much sums up my feelings. Me after that race, wow, yes. There was a lot of emotion. Of course, you can see in this Internet Special Reactions episode, I'm not doing too well. I'm a little bit annoyed, and I will eventually get over it. We've got another race next week. But also, it was an amazing race. It was just full of everything. It was tense for a lot of it. You're thinking Hamilton's going to win. Then you got a safety car at the end. All he needed was a little rain shower, and it might have been one of the craziest races we've ever seen. It wasn't, but it was definitely up there. At Dank_F1 fan, huge respect to Sainz for not dealing with Ferrari's BS. He's learning, Carlos. You might get a lot of victories this year, sir, if you just ignore what Ferrari have to say. Speaking of what Ferrari have to say, did anyone see that Binotto-Leclerc chat after the race? I love how Ferrari are probably like, right, we need to go and speak to Charles and say, don't you dare blame the team, blah, 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 we did it for this reason, we did it for that reason. But the finger wag, it gave it all away. That in itself, that's more than Charles saying, oh my God, the strategy blunder. If anything, it's a bigger story that Mattia was like, no, you don't say anything bad about the team, no, not at all. And finally, it's not a hashtag WTF1 submission, but it is probably the best tweet of the day. And it comes from Zhou Guanyu. I'm okay, all clear. Halo saved me today. Thanks everyone for your kind messages. And yes, the Halo, the safety in Formula One has come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. And you know, the Halo, we saw it in Formula 2 and we saw it again today, literally saving lives. So I cannot thank F1 enough as a fan for doing this for the drivers, because it is just so important, and I'm so glad that the Zhou Guanyu's okay.
It's time for Social Media Team Championship.
Right, Social Media Team Championship time now. Let's get into who is the top 3 for the British Grand Prix. In 3rd place we have Haas F1. Double points. We've waited nearly 3 years to say that. P8 Mick, P10 Kevin. It's not like a funny post, but I feel good for Haas. They got some more points, they deserve it, well done. You get a point for Social Media Team Championship too. In 2nd place we have Scuderia AlphaTauri, and this was tweeted after the Gasly-Tsunoda incident, and it's just brilliant, I love it. And finally, the winners of the Social Media Team Championship for the British Grand Prix are Williams. Now I know this is from the esports account, but it is absolutely brilliant. Can we confirm Formula One game? Of course, this was after qualifying. Latifi was a beast. He didn't get points today, but still, a standout performance for Nicholas. Will it save his seat? I think he's gonna have to do a little bit more. And an honourable mention goes to Alfa Romeo F1 team, saying, update, following his crash, Zhou underwent checks in the medical centre. There were no major injuries. He remains under observation in the medical centre. It's just a good news. It's just, when you see stuff like that, you see that crash, you feel a bit odd, you feel a bit weird, but to see stuff like that, that's a true win. So that's 1 point for Haas F1, 2 points for Scuderia AlphaTauri, and 3 points for Williams.
And now it's time for Race Rundown with your host, Matthew Gallagher.
Right, race rundown time now. Let's try and do this without being sad or upset about the fact that I'm not saying Leclerc first, even though I definitely should be saying Leclerc first. Am I too passionate now? I'm sorry. It's just, I was going to say this doesn't happen too often. It happens most times. Ferrari disaster class. Anyway, the finishes were Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso, Norris. Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso, Norris, Verstappen, Schumacher, Vettel, Magnussen, Stroll, Latifi, Ricciardo. Sainz, Perez, Leclerc. No, Leclerc didn't finish third. The finishers of the British Grand Prix were Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso, Norris, Verstappen, Schumacher, Vettel, Magnussen, Stroll, Latifi, Ricciardo, Tsunoda. That'll do. I don't care how I said Tsunoda. I do not care. It's out the way. Boom. And the non-finishers were Ocon, Gasly. That's a lot of DNFs. The non-finishers were Ocon, Gasly. That doesn't roll off the tongue. Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Russell, Joe, Albon. Right, that is it. Thank you so much for watching the internet's best reactions here at the WTF1 Clubhouse. If you want to camp with us next year for the British Grand Prix, we are going bigger and better than ever before. You can book your tickets right now. And it's been an absolutely awesome experience. I hope you've enjoyed the internet's best reactions as well. Thank you to Fanatec for sponsoring as always. Hashtag WTF1 if you want to get involved next time. And I will see you in 7 days' time for some more Ferrari heartbreak. Goodbye.